My name is Chuck Wise. I'm a Battalion Chief of Boulder Creek Fire District. I would like to talk about our Pierce Mfg cab that we took delivery in April of 2020. We are super proud of this rig for many reasons. One, it was purchased by the community. Our previous fire chief was able to pass a measure that enabled us to raise enough money to purchase a new rig. A few things that we're proud about this rig is how short the wheelbase is. Up here in the mountains, we have some tight, narrow, windy roads. This rig, short wheelbase, 27 feet 11 inches, and a short wheelbase, 162.5 inches. And when our crews are out with the CZU complex, they were able to take this rig everywhere in our fire district that they wanted to. And that was very important to us when we were working with Golden State and Pierce to design this rig. Let's take a quick walk around it. We're going to start with our pedestrian warning device. We got this because we don't want to scare the people in town when we're going on calls. What was really important for us was a clean cab approach. So we made sure that we got everything out of the cab and kept it as clean as possible for storage. As you can see, when we opened up the officers area, it's wide open and there's a lot of room for them to be able to utilize the maps. You'll also notice that there's not an SCBA in their seat. We did that for comfort, and also, again, we want to follow the clean cab approach. So what do we do with that SCBA? We put it in this compartment right here. So this is the officer's compartment. Inside that compartment is his SCBA, the thermal imaging camera that they're going to use, and then also we were able to put a couple of spare SCBA bottles in the back. As we move back, again, clean cab approach. You'll notice here inside the cab that there's no SCBAs in the seats and there's lots of room. We wanted to make sure that when our members are going to and from calls that they weren't being exposed to anything unnecessarily. We're up here in the mountains. We needed a place to store our Stokes basket. When we worked with Pierce and Golden State, we came up with putting it on end right here behind the cab. It keeps it out of the way and it's easily accessible for us to be able to get to when we need it. You'll be able to see we have some ladders. We're super proud. It's important for us to get as many ladders on here as possible. We don't have truck companies up here. All we have is engines. So up on here we have a 35-foot ladder, a 24-foot ladder, and a 14-foot ladder. In this compartment right here, when working with Pierce and Golden State, we were able to come up with a place to store our fan and lighting stuff and be able to keep that stuff charged, ready to go. The firefighters SCBA, the Golden State rep brought to us the idea of storing the SCBAs right here in the front of the wheel well. To be able to store our tools, we came up with a rack system, so we're going to be able to store tools on both sides so we can maximize the amount of tools that we're able to store on the rig and carry. The other piece that we really ran into a problem with is where are we going to store our fire extinguishers and not give up a bunch of compartment space. Again, we're utilizing the wheel wells of the rig and we were able to put them there on end. They're easily accessible for our personnel on a fire. And these are our truck tools in case we come for a vehicle accident. We have our jaws, spreaders, cutters, and then our vehicle stabilization equipment. One of the other features on this store that we're super proud of is Boulder Creek is an all-volunteer fire department. We're able to run 1,000 calls with all volunteers, and we wanted to make sure our community knew that. They supported us with buying us this rig, and we want to make sure that they understood that we all do this because we want to do it, and we're here to support our community. You can really see how working with Pierce and Golden State, we were able to lower the ladders so they're not sticking up and they won't catch on any trees or low-hanging wires or anything like that. We didn't want to have any damage occur to the rig, but we also wanted to make sure that we're able to get anywhere in our district. The other piece that's really important about this is our station was built in 1926. When it was built in 1926, rigs were a lot smaller, so we have a height requirement that we're able to, and it took us quite a bit of time working with Pierce and Golden State to be able to make sure that this will fit in the station. We have about 1.5 inches to spare when we back this into the station. It's also important for us is that we try to keep the hose beds low so that our members didn't have to reach super high and put themselves in any precarious positions to deploy hose. We don't have the luxury of having a bumper hanging out past the rear of the body. Wherever we had an area where they had to climb up, we made sure that we had a wide step for them to be able to climb up on, and we have a little inlet here for where the step lives. There are times when we have to pull somebody up, recover them from over the side of the cliff. Working with Pierce and Golden State, we were able to come up with these receivers, 2 on the front and 2 on the back, to be able to attach our AMCUS rope to the rig. We also have to store our generator to run the AMCUS winch and our chainsaw and rescue saw. As you can see, we come up front, you can make out in the bumper the 2 hitches that we have worked with Pierce and Golden State for the AMCUS rescue winch. You can also see that we have the bumper angled This is to give us the maximum amount of approach angle to get into those tight, steep roads up here in the mountains. The front is about 14 degrees. We're super proud of that. Again, when this was being used in the CTU complex, it was able to get everywhere in our district. We really spent a lot of time working with Pierce and Golden State to design the layout of the engineers area for the driver to make it easy for them to access the pump controls, emergency lights, any scene lighting that we have. We want to remember our fallen firefighters from 9/11, and then we also pay token to the chief that allowed us to buy this rig, and we were able to put his number on the front of that helmet just as a reminder, and we surprised him when we brought the rig back. Coming back here to the pump panel, we spent a lot of time with Pierce and Golden State laying this out and making sure that it's easy for our engineers and drivers to use. We color-coded each outlet and the different parts of the pump panel. One of the things that we're really proud of is we were able to get an air primer on here that's big enough for this pump. We do live up here in the mountains in the redwoods, and we didn't want to have any fluids coming off our rig to contaminate anything. So we came up with the air primer idea, because now we don't have to worry about any oils coming off of this rig. We have all of our brass stored here for the engineer, and then coming back here, again, we have another SCBA in here for the firefighter. Wanted to keep it out of the cab. This is where we're storing all of our wildland hose. We didn't want to have them to climb up on top of the rig, so we wanted to come up with this where it's easy for them to come here and get this and attack the fire as quick as possible. Back here in this compartment, this is where we're storing our EMS gear and our rope rescue gear. And you can see we have all of our rope rescue stuff here at the bottom. That's where our AMKIS rescue winch is. We made it easy to get to. I'd like to thank you for allowing me to show you Engine 2112. We're super proud of the rig that we came up with in collaboration with Pierce and Golden State. Thank you again.